listening to your insights, Ines.
Hi, Ines.
Hi, hello, Sadia.
Hi, good to meet you.
Because of the time we're going to get started, I think it's good to start on the time. I'm pretty sure that people are going to start connecting afterwards. That's no problem. We have people from different parts of the world. A lot of people from Peru. I don't know why. Oh, Ines is very well known from there. From Peru. We got people from Brazil too. We got 5 people from Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. We got a lot of people from the Judge Business School. Also, people who are connected to one profile, but they got together in teams of 10 or 12 people. They told me that they're going to have discussions there too. So today's session is going to be very interesting because of the pandemic that we're all in. So that is why the title that we put today for this session is called Pandemic Executives. What are the new market needs? What are the challenges that we might face? And how we can actually see this as an opportunity for us to grow as professionals, despite the field in which we're working in today. So these are some notes that I would like to remind you of. This is a close conversation. We are going to be less than 50 people because we want to promote the Q&A portion. We think it's very important to address all the questions that you might have before joining the session, or maybe after you hear something. It's good to have that, but please try to capture all the questions and leave them in the chat box so I can read them out loud. And at the end, of course, we're going to have a Q&A session properly done. Please remember to keep your Microsoft off, just to avoid having a lot of people talking at the same time. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to be your host today. I'm Guillermo. I'm Cambridge Business Association Director here in Latin America. This is basically the business bridge between Cambridge Judge Business School and Latin America. We are trying to do these webinars, these Cambridge Connect sessions, once a month with an expert, with an authority in the field. I'm also a Cambridge Judge Business School ambassador for Latin America. This is a title that came after last year in November. We were going to create the first Latin American Business Summit in Santiago. 300 people were coming here. We wanted to promote LATAM as a real opportunity for all of us. You might be working as an employee, you might be a startup founder, whatever. It's important to have this kind of platforms. But unfortunately, that didn't happen because of this social turmoil that we had, that pretty sure you all know what happened here in Santiago. But despite that it might seem as a problem, we took all the lessons learned and we created this instance, this platform to communicate with one another. We find value there to build over the expertise of different people in different fields. I'm also the managing partner of Oxbridge Capital Partners, which is a venture capital firm born out of the Judge Business School. So we're also looking for investments here in LATAM in different fields. So that's important. Today, our guest speaker is going to be Ines Temple. I know a lot of you know her. She's an influencer. She's the go-to person in outplacement, in HR management. She's not only the president of LHH for Peru and Chile, but she's also a best-selling author. I'm pretty sure most of you have read her book. Today, Ines, right, you are celebrating the 10th anniversary since its launch.
Yes, that will happen soon, and I'm working already on the 20th edition. It's going to be all revised again for the new circumstances we are going through, and yes, and it's been selling also very well in English, so I'm happy for that.
So that book is also available in Amazon. I'm pretty sure people can get it. Where can they go to if they want to have more information on it?
Everywhere. Actually, it's been, we have a promotion for the digital versions. It's on Benefit of Care, which is an organization I'm part of. We are providing funds for the poor, extremely poor in Peru, trying to feed them at lunchtime. So it's all in benefit. It's the price is very good. So take advantage of it. It won't last.
Great, good to know. I read the book like 10 years, I don't know, the first edition I read it, and it was amazing. So that is why this conversation started, because we were receiving a lot of comments on the subject that the next Cambridge Connect should be on. And of course, this situation came out about the outplacement, the transitioning phase where a lot of people are in today. So your name came right up in the top. So thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy person. So this is going to be a 1-hour session today, and to address all the questions that we received via LinkedIn, via the Judge Business School, and actually our team that also help us out to craft the best 10 questions, the best 10 areas under which we should operating given the current situation. So this quote right here, I think, summarizes everything that's happening today. This is a quote that we all know by heart, despite the language. This is a global thing, right? But this change that is the only constant in life has been accelerated by this new neighbor that we have in the world. This COVID impact that spread throughout the world that is forcing us to work from home is a new reality for us, a new a normal, right? These are just numbers that I want to show you to have the context before we get started with Ines. We already know that the job openings are going down dramatically despite the country which we're in. So a lot of companies are going out of business. Some are actually being created today, taking advantage of this situation. But the real thing is that all the industries are being impacted. This is a survey in the US, but I'm pretty sure you can relate to it in your own country. Mainly the hospitality industry is the most impacted. Maybe Ines can walk us through that afterwards. But a lot, I mean, the professional services, retail, even though they're taking advantage of the e-commerce, but we are all impacted. That's important to know, to realize the relevance of today's session. The new reality for all of us who are parents. I have 2 kids. I'm used to that. A lot of noise in the background. My kid always, all the time, starts like jumping when I'm having a formal conversation, so it's hard. I hope this figure is not your situation today, but that's also very common. I'm a formal guy, so I'm wearing everything. Don't you worry. These are the areas that we are going to cover today: personal branding, service provider, effective networking. How do we do that? How do we reach out to our own network and start creating a relationship, not just take advantage of it? How do we job scout properly? How do we go to the market and see, okay, this is the profile that I'm going to sell. These are my strengths. How do I do that? How do I craft a career plan that is the best for me given my current situation? If I'm in a transition phase, how can I take advantage of that too? And finally, what are the must-have skills in today's market? To then go to the future, into the future, and try to detect the trends. So that is why, Ines, I want to, again, thank you so much for the privilege of having you. And we would like to dive in right away with the questions. If you agree, let's go straight to the questions in sake of time. So the first question, that we were given is this right here. Why is it important to become a professional service provider? Why? This is a phrase that I took out of your book. I know that you are promoting this notion of a service provider. Can you help us out to understand it a bit better, how we can have a different perspective about it?
Yes, thank you very much, Guillermo, again for inviting me, and thank you for reading my book. I'm honored about that. Why is it important to become a professional service provider? I think because it speaks about a mind shift, the way we understand how we work and how we sell our services. For a lot of people that are employed, they become an employee. Even if you're an executive, people still think of themselves as somebody that are dependent. They get paid to do a job. Sometimes they get paid for hours, or they get paid to go to a place. Well, not anymore, anyway. But the whole idea is that we understand that we are not nobody employees. What we are we own our own businesses. That businesses are the business of selling our services. So if we see ourselves as business owners selling our services that then have to be of excellent quality, have to be quite well aligned with our client needs, that we understand our boss and our collaborators, our subordinates, our bosses, our clients are all our clients. It may sound redundant, but if we see the people that we work with as people that we have to make sure to be happy with our services, to be able to recommend them, to understand that we are responsible not to to be there at the office or to be there at the screen, but to provide a service that has value, that add value, and a service that can be measured, that be quantified, that can have a great recommendation, then we will start really acting as an entrepreneur of our own career. And that's the whole mind shift that we're looking for. Why? Because sometimes when people see themselves as dependents or as executives, they tend to create issues with authority, with their bosses. And I've seen that a lot. A lot of career trouble starts with people having wrong feelings or wrong attitudes toward their bosses, the company, the way they're paid, or why they're paid like this, or why their working conditions are such and such, instead of having a service attitude, which is the whole point of the idea.
Perfect. It makes perfect sense. Actually, when I was coming out of the university back then, that perspective helped me out a lot, because I didn't consider myself just as a corporate guy. I was, as you said, the owner of my own personal services that I was offering to others, to a third party. So that opened up my mind, the way I consider myself as a professional. So it's a great approach. I think it's a very practical one, to have a different way of thinking of how you work in today's economy. So there is another way of, yes.
No, I'm sorry. What I was going to say is that it keeps you relevant. Because if you know that you are the owner of your business and you want to remain competitive, you need to be relevant. You need we need to be in charge of our own process of getting new skills, of developing new knowledge, of learning new things to be up to date with technology. And I've heard so many times, Guillermo, people say like, wait, but my company didn't train me on that, or no, they were not paying for my training, or no, nobody told me about that. And you can see that they put the responsibility of their careers, their own lives, in other people's hands. And then they complain. So
That's
it's
true.
like, no, that's not the whole idea.
And there's another perspective too, that some people think that they are being paid to go to the job, but they're actually being paid to add value to the job. That's also that you, there's a topic there that you went through in depth into the book that is very relevant too, because some people think that, okay, they go to and do the minimum that is required according to their KPIs. They don't want to go the extra mile, but actually it's playing the opposite way if they want to sell themselves as a brand. That is another topic very relevant, especially if we go to the effective networking part, because some people don't know how to network, how to take advantage, how to use it, and they only go to their network when they are in need. But you have a different perspective on that, right? So how do we do it properly?
Absolutely. To start with, Guillermo, I always make a point of explaining that we don't sell ourselves. We are not for sale, unless we're in a different business, which is just a joke. But what we sell are services. So we need to be very keen in understanding how that sales effort, that branding effort comes through with the people that we are dealing with. And that's why the whole idea of networking, it's so important. But I use a different term, not necessarily networking with contacts, but what I like is to extend our trust network, because for a lot of people, network means using people on my behalf because I need them now. I may not remember them again in a few years, but today I need them. They become my best friends for 15 days. That's a whole manipulative approach that I don't like. I guess nobody likes. For me, the whole idea of building a network of trust is finding out people that knows us, that we know, that appreciate us, hopefully, that we appreciate them, where we want to have a real relationship, a real human relationship. We don't need to be best friends, but we need to be able to trust these people, and they need to be trust us. And in a relationship that gives as much as receives, and especially a relationship where you give first, because that's the only way to approach people. What can we do for them first, instead of asking now that I need a new job or now that I need some info. So it's a process that we build out through all our life, not only because we need a new job or we need a favor. So that's also another mind shift. We part of our career, our business, our lives has to do with people. I mean, we're human animals. So if we approach people sincerely, willing to have real relationship, authentic human interactions with them that can be of mutual benefit or can be of no benefit at all for any one of us, but still a relationship where caring and authenticity and empathy are basic, that will work. The benefits will come by themselves. So, and another important thing is that people tend to, when they start networking, they make a list and they start with the important names on top. The people that they know that have high positions at a bank, the ones who are presidents of a company, famous teachers. I think that's the wrong approach. We really need to start with people that really appreciate and like us, people that we really appreciate and like. And the rule is that you may know what these people do, but you may not know who they know. So nobody is a small contact. Nobody is less important. And this is key because we cannot afford to be arrogant. As we can't afford to be complacent, thinking that because we have a job, we are secure and okay, I don't need to be working on my level of employability because I already have a job. It's the same thing. I mean, we cannot think that people are more or less important because of who they are or what they do. That's a big mistake.
Yeah, there is a theory that was written back in the 70s about the weak ties from Max Granovetter, right? He talks about that maybe the people who's going to help you out is not just direct contact, it's going to be the friend of a friend who's going to introduce you to your future role. So it's a great point also on how to do it properly, to avoid taking advantage of another person when you are in need. Because when you're in need, maybe your natural instincts attack you and you try to do that. So it's great to have this new way of approaching people, to building relationship, which takes a lot of time.
And another thing that's very important is that we really keep in mind that we need to work on our charisma. Sure. People tend to think that charisma is something that politicians need to work on. And actually, they of course do, because they need to build our trust. But charisma, which is, in other words, how warm you are, how much warmth you give to others, how much openness you offer, helps build trust. And the other way that we can have a real interaction to start, and then a relationship, but it has to start with a good interaction, has to do if the other person can trust you. And the only way to do that is to think about being warm, be open, charismatic, but not in a sense of a fake big smile, but in a sense of thinking that we need to give energy to other people, that we are not there just to take, but basically to give energy. And once that energy is given, then some trust can be expected, and then a relationship can start after a good interaction. So it's step by step that we build a proper network of trust.
Great. And thank you so much for that, because I have done it personally, and it's kind of hard at the beginning. You don't know what are the steps. You don't have a structure on how to do it properly. Maybe actually you are missing the proper mindset to tackle this issue of effective networking. There are a lot of books written on the subject. So thank you so much for that perspective. Now, when we go to the job scouting part, when we are looking for maybe a transition, we might be currently employed in a specific company, or we are unemployed and we are trying to scout the market. How can we take advantage of LinkedIn, for instance, or other platforms? Is there a way of doing it effectively? Or is just a matter of starting calling people you might know? Do you have an opening? Do you have an opening? There's a more efficient way of tackling this?
Yeah, it has to start with what is that we really want to do. I know that this is hard because there is so much unemployment everywhere in the world, and so many positions have been lost, so many companies have closed. So there is a lot of fear around. And people tend to think that it's not a luxury that we think that I think about what I really want to do. And the response is yes, that's the key. Because we have to be able to look for a job where we can be happy, where we can do actually the job because we have the skills, the abilities, the talents, the capabilities. But we need to find a place where a passion can ideally be filled, and a place where we can fit well. So we have to find that is what I really want to do. We're going to be doing that 10 or 12 hours a day. So we better enjoy it, and we better do it well in order to be successful. So once we define what we really want to do, we start thinking, okay, where can I do that? Where can I add value? What is the value that I can add to this company, this area, this sector, this industry, this specialty of my profession? And once we have a clear value of what could be I like to call it my bread under my arm. I guess it's a bad translation from a Peruvian expression. Anyway, what can we bring to the table? So we start thinking about which industry, which sector, where. That's when we start scouting the market. Once we understand what we really want to do, what we can offer, then we start thinking about people that can inform us more about others who work there, what the culture are, what the needs, their necessities, their challenges, the opportunities. And once we have all that information to get even better prepared, we can start trying to approach those who are working in those companies or organizations that we're aiming for to help with an introduction or things like that. Just remember that yes, LinkedIn is key. It's very important. We need to be there with a very well developed profile. But from what we see, both Peru, Chile, and Latin America in general, is that over 80% of new positions for executives are attained by networking. Headhunters, 10%, LinkedIn, 10%, but 80%, sometimes a bit more, a bit less, is basically positions that you find out you are recommended to because of people that trust you. People that will say, yeah, this is a great person, or people, and why is that? Because when a company has an opening or a need, first it looks around inside it's some teamwork, some team. Okay, who can we hire? Who can we promote from inside? Who we can promote from inside? If you don't see that, you go to your friendly local outplacement provider that can send you great people for free and fast. And if they don't have anyone with that profile, then you start asking your friends. Do you know? Are you aware of who with this profile? Do you know it's available? It's looking for a job, or I may talk to. And that's how it works. That's why networking it's so important for our career. Not only because people who know us are the ones who give us who maintains our image and reputation and gives recommendations about us, just mouth to mouth, just like with doctors and lawyers. But it's because they are the ones who, once they know that we are in a career transition process, that we are looking for a new position, looking for new opportunities, they may start getting aware and opening their eyes and ears for whatever they may listen around, and then they will connect the dots. Oh, this is a position, my friend Guillermo, who talked to me 10 days ago, it will be the perfect person. So we need to make our network aware of where are we, where do we want to go, what can we offer, what are we good at. We need to bring to present value our relationships, because we may know people from college, but they don't know what happened with us, all the things that we learned and all the successes or failures that we had all the following years. So we always need to be keeping up with bringing our relationships to present value both ways, not only about me, all my successes or all my advancements, but also what's going on with them, with real interest, as I mentioned before.
Yeah, for sure. There's actually one comment that I like here in the chat, that it says that maybe this current situation, this pandemic, is also bringing new opportunities in the job scouting portion, that maybe some new needs are going to be created. We need to take advantage of that and not see everything as something bad that is happening today, especially to do it effectively. So I love the part when you said that first we need to start with this personal assessment. And where do I see myself adding value to a potential company that I already mapped before? So it's good also to have that notion of the personal assessment first, this internal analysis, to then try to reach out to others. So
we need to do our service well first. I mean, we're service providers. We need to understand what service are we selling, what benefits of our service, what our service is good, better, or outstanding.
And that also relates to the career management, the path that we need to create for ourselves that is the best for us, right? So have you seen some not trends, but some techniques that can boost our professional careers? Is something there that might be relevant for the audience today to start using, to start implementing as of today?
It's a great question, and it can be approached from very different angles. But I think if we start, as we said before, we understand that we are responsible for our own development and to getting all the skills that we need, and we keep up to date. We keep our curiosity. If we keep up developing our human skills, I guess nowadays it's assumed that we have the basic knowledge, the skills to do our work, that we have a good curriculum that shows all the value that we have added, ideally with numbers and percentage and all of that. But then really makes a difference between candidates when you are competing for a promotion inside a company, or we're competing for a new job in a new company, in a new organization. We need to be very keen about how we are going to speak or present our human skills. That makes all the difference. That's what makes all the difference. I always keep asking my friends, headhunters, for example, if you have 3 high-level executives, they're all brilliant, they all come from Oxford, they are, from Cambridge, from Harvard, they all come from whatever school you went to. I'm sorry, and a lapsus, and they are all excellent, the best there are in the market. And the 3 of them are quite similar. What is that makes you choose one instead of the other? And that's where all these human skills come aboard. How do you relate? There's a headhunter friend of mine told me the other day that a client of him told him, it's like, if I can picture myself going from South America to Spain in an 11-hour long airplane trip, and be sitting next to each other and not being desperate, that's the person I want to hire. If I even get an idea that I will be enjoying that trip with that person, that's the one I want to work with. Because at the end, working, it's about interactions, human interactions. So we need people that we can trust, people that we like, people that we think fits with us. Fit doesn't mean to be similar or equal, because everybody needs diversity in the workplaces, but means that I can be myself. I feel good about myself in front of this person. So that's why it's so important for our career management to be very clear that people like us because of the way we make them feel. People like us because we give them acceptance and approval. People like us because we are adaptable, we are flexible, because we communicate well, because we are mature, because we have strong ethics. People like us and feel comfortable with us because we can collaborate. We have energy and enthusiasm to do the work with passion. I mean, we don't have to be pushed every single day or live from depressions every day, because we bring good vibes into the work. And I know all of this sounds a bit too soft. And of course, I could spend an hour about all digital and technology info and that we need to have. That's a given. That's a must. It's like knowing how to do some math or how to write an article. That's a must. But all the other things, leadership, um, courage, you know, focus on results, ambition, of the good kind, of course, you know, uh, uh, all of those are key. Energy, enthusiasm. People get hired for that. And that's especially hard in this environment of today because we are all a bit depressed. We all have been too long in lockdowns. We all hear all this bad news every day over and over again. It's very normal to adopt that speech of, oh, everything is bad. Yeah, everybody's losing money. Yeah, everybody's out of work. But if we get contaminated by all those highly negative thoughts and our speech become another negative speech, we won't have a chance in our career. We just won't.
Yeah, that's so true, especially in today's digital area. Maybe it's harder for us to network, to build a real relationship. Is there an approach there that we should take? Because networking is great. Okay, a career path, I need to engage with people, but maybe it's too cold, too distant when we are interacting like this. Because when we are able to share a cup of coffee, for instance, of course, maybe you can show yourself as a natural person, but some people have maybe the tendency of getting more scared when you are in an interview process, doing like this on a digital scenario. How you see that challenge, the distance that the computer might create between a real relationship creation?
Remember, we were speaking about flexibility and adaptability. Well, this is the chance to prove it. This is what we have. We have to work through screens. We need to look at the green dot. We need to, this is how we build relationships now. This is how we're going to live for the next few months. And maybe half of us, or half of all the business relationships and personal relationships that we will engage with will be through a screen. So we should better get good at it and enjoy it. I mean, Guillermo, we have met just a couple of times, but I feel we have a connection. I feel that I can trust you, and I hope you can trust me. And we have only been in front of screens, but you are good in the screen. You communicate well. I can see you. First of all, your screen is on. I see so many people that just keep a black screen. Maybe because they don't come their hair that day, or they didn't shave, or I don't know. They think their house is a mess. Whatever the reason. But how can we have a relationship with a black screen in front of us? Because at least when we are at the phone, we tried, we try to smile, knowing that we're still on the phone. We try to stand up for an important call. But nowadays, the best way to really start relationship that work is through seeing our faces, looking at our eyes, our smiles, the way our body moves, what background we have. And if our background is not perfect, do as we do. Just use a virtual background and create one that you like and you can stand looking at every day. Actually, I have several, so I don't tire of the same every day. Depending on
it depends on the mood.
What is that? Yeah, actually, because I'm here at my son ex bedroom at the country house, and that's where signal is best. And I don't want to show off a room that may not be the image that I want to project in this moment. And I'd rather have a wonderful virtual background. But so we need to learn how to move and how to relate to the camera, how to buy, for $30 some LED lights that I have one now, and it's wonderful. It can be even work with warmer or colder lights. I don't mean we all need to become experts in filming or video, but it really adds to our efforts of building relationships with people, and we need to see each other. We need to feel each other. And now, every time I meet with my team, and now I'm meeting more than ever, it's like now, since the pandemic, I've been networking more than I have ever done in many, many years. I always see their faces and looking at their faces and looking how their shoulders are, the way they are sitting and the way they are moving or not moving. I can see they are stressed, if they have had a problem, if they're happy today. That's how we human communicates. So in these times, we need to keep on networking. And now it's so much easier. We don't have to take planes, we don't have to take car rides, we don't have to use public transportation. We just need to log on into Zoom and no excuses. And everybody is there. We're longing for connections.
Yeah.
We say that we might be socially distanced, but we don't have to be emotionally distant.
For sure. And it's part of the new reality. We need to get used to it, as you said before. And actually, if someone is not prepared, doesn't feel comfortable in this kind of scenario, maybe there is a way for them to start practicing, to start having more calls with their friends until they get it. The old saying goes like, fake it till you make it. There's a TED Talk on that. It's very good. If you haven't seen it before, I really recommend it because it's part of getting used to this new reality, taken as an opportunity, as we have said before. So yeah, I completely agree with what you said. I'm trying to funnel all the questions that I'm receiving via WhatsApp and personally here in the chat. So after the pandemic, as we said before, as context, remember, there are a lot of people in transition that have been made redundant, that have been they needed to resign for whatever the reason. So if you are in that situation today, what would be your recommendation, your strategy to start implementing right away to shorten the time it takes to relocate? Because I'm pretty sure that there is a range, right? It's about, I don't know, 6 months or 5 months before a person gets a new role after they have been fired for whatever the circumstances. So how can a person, if in this audience today is facing that reality, can adapt and start doing something better?
Okay, the first thing is that we need to start facing forward. It takes a while to go through the pain of having been released or fired or let go, and it's painful, and we need to face that pain and move on. Second, we need to really make ourselves a plan, starting with a work schedule. Looking for a new job, it's an 8 or 10 hours a day job. So it's not time to think, okay, I need to rest, or I need, because remember, our brand value goes down the longer we stay in the market. So it might be a bit different in this condition because it's so common for so many people in the world, but still. So we really need to focus on working on our process. See? As I said before, we start with ourselves, self-assessment, and defining where is that I really want to do on work. Start scouting the industries, which industries are hiring more. Commercialization now is doing, communication is doing a lot of hiring. I mean, it's going to start full operations in Latin America soon. So that sector will start moving. Other sectors that are growing, banking is growing, financial services are growing. And there are a lot of industries that are letting go people, not necessarily because of a lack of income to pay salaries, but because different skills. A lot of industries need to reinvent themselves, and they need new people with new blood, with new energy, with new ideas, with new knowledge to help those companies survive. So we really need to start looking where is that they need somebody with my profile, and start investigating those industries, those companies, those sectors a lot. Okay? And then start to at the same time and in parallel, having ideally from 5 to 6 to 7 networking contacts a day. And that's a lot, but it's easier, much easier, because each conversation has to be no longer than 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and sharing with them what happened, where are we, showing them that we are in a good place, because nobody wants to help somebody who is just in the surviving mode. People want to relate to people who can bring value to them by recommending them. So, and letting them know where are we, what process are we involved, what sectors are we interested in, which companies, and informing our network of our situation and where we're moving forward, and then doing a lot of contacts, more research, more contacts, and that will really shorten the period. every time I meet with somebody that says, I've been in the process with you over, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months, and still, I have landed a job, I always ask the same questions. How many contacts have you made in total? This is your sales force. If you want to sell a lot of a product, you have a larger sales force. So our network of trust is our sales force. So the larger it is, the better it will be. How many companies have you investigated? How many positions have you applied through headhunters or LinkedIn? But basically, how many contacts have you had? How many meetings in face, one-to-ones? And start following up each lead that people give you and investigate it, and not getting distracted, Guillermo. People tend to get distracted a lot, or they lost their focus. And a lot of people start thinking, okay, maybe I should put a business. It's wonderful. Around between 18 or 20% of our candidates graduate from the program with their own new businesses, and which is wonderful. Even though 80% think when they start the program that's what they want. And through a process, and we evaluate them, we give them the feedback about their profile and how good they might be as an entrepreneur or not. But the ones who are really focused, they move toward that, new position. But trying to find, create a business and find a new job at the same time, it's hard and it's confusing and it's extenuating. And then what message are you going to tell your new, somebody who's interviewing you, if you are dedicated to your business, so where is your heart? Where are you going to put your energy and your passion? Your own business or their business? Obviously, for them, it will be your own. So it's very important to be focused, and be very mentalized that we are in the process of selling our services. We need to find to whom, where, and how, as much as possible, 8 or 10 hours a day.
Perfect. It's a numbers game, actually. The more you are trying to reach out to people, the better results you might get. Actually, as you said before, I completely agree with that. This is the job hunting process is a job itself. You cannot take it slightly like, okay, I'm going to do it every other 2 days. No, you need to be very concentrated to try and create your own opportunities, because no one's going to knock on your door and give you the job, the ideal job you're planning for. And I also like the way you said it, that it's important to keep track on all your actions. I mean, to have like a dashboard that allows you to say, okay, today I'm going to hit, 10 people. Hit is not the proper word. I'm going to reach out to 10 to 20 people, whatever the number makes sense to you, and then start creating a dashboard that allows you to see in which status every person is in, and then reach back again and again until you are able to create that opportunity for yourself. But I'm pretty sure that today's new reality is requiring new skills, right? A must-have skills that, for instance, I know that technology is going nuts. I know more requests on IT people, engineers, and so forth, but I'm pretty sure there are must skills today. Have you seen that?
Yes, of course. And again, I have to go back to human skills because, we need people that are very, of course, intelligence is the must. And I guess we're pretty safe in this audience. That is check. But then we need to be able to learn fast, and to learn fast, and then to learn even faster. And for that, we need a lot of curiosity. We need people who read. And that's such a big difference in the executive world. There are people who don't read. They have so many less chances of succeeding in their careers because they don't not only don't get knowledge, but by reading you get to manage so many different perspectives out of reality. I mentioned some of them before, but of course, more than ever, collaboration, more than ever, teamwork, more than ever, are focusing communication, both verbally and written, and adaptability and flexibility are key. Resilience, with everything that's going on, resilience has been the star human skill that people are looking for, because we will keep getting complicated, and the virus is not going anywhere in the near future, and we will keep on having many, many more troubles everywhere, anywhere. So we need people that have the energy, the strength, the character to face difficulties and not break. And those human skills are the ones that are more and more being looked for. Age, yes, but age is not a matter of chronological age. Age is related to our capability to adapt and change and to learn, and how well we can fit in different environments. It's all about mindset, really. And we even though we start our conversation, Guillermo, today speaking about we being service providers, we are human beings offering our services. And the human being behind those services has to be one that can be trusted, both in the professional and the human side of trust. And those are the skills. Those are the mass skills that the job market is looking for today.
So we need to polish them and try to show them actually, because maybe some of the people who are in the audience today think they're doing their internal process. They think they have it. Maybe they don't have to show them to the world and actually start promoting themselves properly. We're coming to the end. Remember that we said this is an hour conversation. We got 10 minutes, but before we close, I want to be sure that we hit on this. We want to look into the future, right? We want to try to paint a picture that's very clear for us and try to detect the future trends. How do you foresee the future trends in this job, the headhunting industry, the needs for the companies today after COVID-19? Have you detected some trends that are evident for the audience so they can start maybe adjusting their career path?
There are several. I'm pretty convinced that everything has to do with technology, but not necessarily as technology experts, but as technology lovers. And everything that allows us to understand how things work in relationship with data, with artificial intelligence. A friend of mine told this short story to me. He said, like, the big revolution we had in the 19th century when everything that was done by humans was given electricity, and everything, lights, electricity, communication, the mixer at your kitchen, everything was given electricity. Nowadays, everything is being given or will be given digital connection or artificial intelligence. We need to understand that. Even though we are not the expert to write the code, but we need to understand. We need to understand all that language, all that mindset. And also, very important, again, we don't need to impress people. And we don't need to promote ourselves. We need to promote our services. We need to gain trust. And we have seen so much pain in the last months. We will keep on seeing so much human suffering that I really think what the market, people in general, for is people with humanity, people that have empathy, people that can relate on what others are going through. That person that only cares about its own benefit, its own gains, or it's the company results monetarily. Those profiles will always exist, and maybe society will still need them, but it's not the tendency. I'm praying for the good that this better way to understand our service providers as whole human beings, with an emphasis on our soul and our human sensibilities, that will extend. And then the more machines that we will be using, the more humans we need to be, the more human. So I get that's the tendency, and I hope it will stay, it will remain.
For sure. Maybe now, even though we are at a distance because of this confinement situation that is happening throughout the world, we have the tendency, the need to create these more intimate relationships, right? It's kind of we are eager to get out. Here in Santiago, we are not able yet, but hopefully soon. I know in the UK, there was a problem when the curfew went out. A lot of people went nuts. So hopefully this new change, this new opportunities also are going to be created will help us to achieve that you were explaining. So now, since we have been covered, we covered, sorry, all the areas that we said at the beginning of the session. Please, all the people who might have questions, if you can write them up in the chat box, would be great. Here I have one that I think is great, because today Andrea is saying that the hiring process is frozen in most companies, right? People are not hiring today. They're waiting to see what's happening after this tidal wave that came. So how do we keep in touch with these potential companies that we would like to apply, but they are not offering anything? How do we monitor them properly? How do we build that relationship that we hadn't spoken about? Have you any strategies for that?
Okay. Yes. First, don't necessarily assume that because companies have frozen hiring processes that they are not hiring. They not be hiring massively, but there are still areas where they need to change profiles. So be very keen into investigating where are those areas, what changes are going on, what are the weak points, what ideas can you bring to the market that may, or to them, that may be relevant for their success. And just keep on talking. If you are really focused on one company in particular or a group of companies, keep on talking, on building up, making stronger your relationship with different people inside those companies. Because once there is a need that arises, or they may think of you, or once you have the opportunity to give them ideas, or just to offer some advice, or you know, I've seen even people, you know, giving some of their time out of for free to companies for, I don't know, you know, for a couple of weeks, just to get to know better. Or maybe I have this idea that I can offer you a solution. I mean, we have to be creative, and there is a lot of competition for positions, and we need to be the first online by doing those extra things. I mean, very creative, just putting one foot into the door by, you know, being there, being present for them, giving them ideas, sending them articles, or, you know, contacting them with other people, helping them with find their new suppliers. You know, make yourself useful to those companies that you're really interested into.
So there's another question here that was also very important before COVID, but now maybe is even more critical. There are people with medical condition, medical restriction. Maybe they cannot move to a position in particular. How do you see the impact for this particular people in that situation, that they have a medical restriction? Maybe COVID has deepened that situation, or maybe home office is an option now, and a lot of companies are transitioning towards that instead of forcing people to go to the office and commute every single day back and forward. I want to take care of this reality, because it's a need throughout the world. Also, people who have these restrictions. Do you see that today's changing?
Yeah, we have 30-something consultants, senior consultants in our practice in Lima, and around 10 are over 60, and I think 5 are over 65, and they're excellent. I mean, excellent consultants. Most of them have been CEOs of large companies, and we are trying to protect them. And of course, we have agreed that they won't put us a single foot in our office until at least next year. But now, to be able to work like this via Zoom, it's the new normal. So it's not that something strange or rare is being done. They're just working from home, and everybody's happy to see their faces and see them more often and know they're available because they're at home. So I think it's a great moment for people who can't leave home to be, you know, working or looking for a job, because, you know, mobility is not an issue anymore. You know, Guillermo, there is another concept that is key. Geography, it's hard for me to pronounce. Geography is no longer important. Before, you hire people in Lima to work in Lima, in Santiago to work in Santiago, in Bogota to work in Bogota, in London to work in London. Now you can.
The world is flat.
You know, the only thing is that it has to be in a good time zone. You know, it's hard to work in, you know, with us. My daughter lives in Australia. It's so hard to get to talk to her when she's there, and because of the time difference. But from people in our region, I can be home. I can be in my apartment in Lima, in the country home. I can be anywhere. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. I can be sitting in Malaysia today. I will be sleepy, but I will be still here. So we need to expand our horizons. Let's not look only for positions in our neighborhood, in our city, in our country, or not even our continent. So the world has broadened. We might be less free to move out our homes, but the world is much smaller now because we can work like this. You know, when I say like this, they assume I mean.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. For sure. And that's so true, because in my case, I have a very close relationship with Cambridge, even though I'm here in Santiago, but that's not a problem. The time difference is just 5 hours. I'm working in the past all the time, but that's not a problem. When I contact with people in Australia, they are 15 hours ahead of me, so I'm always late because I needed to do something before. But well, it's part of the new deal, right? The new situation that we are all in. Ines, before we close, I really wanted to thank you on behalf of Cambridge, because having you is an honor. As I said at the beginning, the idea of Cambridge Connects is to have a very close session, very intimate session with people. We set the session for 50 people just to promote the Q&A part, because we think it's important to address the questions, and let people know that this is a place of it's a safety place. They can ask whatever they want, and that's the reason why of Cambridge Connect. I also wanted to thank Sadia and Margaret from the Judge Business School. Thank you for your time, for your support. It's great to have the authorities from the Judge here participating. That's amazing. And also everyone else who connected today. I know that there are groups also using one profile, so they are sending me here messages that they enjoy the presentation also. So I really want to invite everyone to this once a month session of Cambridge Connect. We are creating different talks with experts, with authorities in multiple fields. So if you have a recommendation for us, please drop us a message, send us a LinkedIn, note there, so we can start crafting next month properly to address relevant and current issues. So I wanted to thank everyone today for your participation, for the session, and I hope to see you soon after COVID.
Thank you. Thank you again for inviting me, and thank you to all. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. And thank you so much, Ines. That was super insightful. And Guillermo for setting everything up. Absolute pleasure. Looking forward to more.
Thank you. Bye.